Good morning, everyone. At the moment, a lot of people are scared of the CGT discount and its impact on investment. Now, the fundamental reason for property prices that have gone up in last few years, regardless of COVID or the 13 consecutive interest rate hikes, the prices have gone up. And the fundamental reason, as I was saying, was the supply, the imbalance between supply and the demand. Now, what can happen because of these all global events going on where people are concerned of the war, interest rate rise? It may happen that, and you might have noticed that the stock market has also got a huge shock, and people are predicting the prices to go down, and it's already started happening in some parts. So what can happen is basically due to sentimentals, there could be one way slight reduction in the demand, but when people see the movements in the stock market, they may actually redirect their investment from stock market into a property, because if they got self-managed super fund, they can invest their funds into property. Now, even in this hardest time, if you invest into property, I'm not really being very highly positive on the growth. If you see here, I have used only 600,000 as a very basic price guide, considering average balance of people in their super fund to be around, I would say, 180 to 200,000. So just 600,000 property purchase. And if you see here, the growth, I haven't actually predicted to be 15%, 20%, when in fact we do have, achieved for our clients growth for 15-20% in last 2-3 years. But for next 5 years, seeing these all situations globally, what's happening, I'm being very on the lower end, just 8%. So it will be 48,000 per year, whether you buy the personal or self-managed super fund. If you hold it for 5 years, and again, I'm not really predicting any super growth, even 10%, only 8% I'm using. In this example, the worst case scenario, where you will see your property prices will grow by 240,000. So 8% per year times 5 years is about 40% growth. Now, what will the gains be assuming? You have this new rule coming for personal properties, like properties bought under personal names. Instead of 50% discount, you get only 33% discount, means you get 1/3 discount. That means you don't pay tax on that 1/3. So remaining 2/3 of this profit, so it's 240,000, 2/3 of that will be 160, you pay tax on. While in SMSF, you don't get such discount. You do, not like in personal 33%, but you get 1/3 as well. But the tax bracket in super is 15%, but if you do 1/3 of that, you get discount to be 5%. So you pay tax on at 10%, but on the whole amount. You don't get discount actually on the gains. So what happens that in this situation you get to pay tax on 160 only, while you get the full amount. But considering the rate of tax, if you see carefully, I'm assuming that you are in the high bracket income and you paying 40% tax. Let's say even 30%, then it's going to be better situation for you. But I'm just again using the very worst case scenario. So if we consider tax at, the capital gain tax at 40%, okay, the gain you have got is 240,000, and you have discount of 33%, so you are liable to pay tax on this 160,000. And if you do 40% of these leftover taxable gain at 40%, then your tax will be 64,000. But if you see on the other side, even if you pay tax on full amount of 240k, your tax is going to be 10%. So that would be 24,000. So you can see here, you get to save $40,000 in your super. So that's extra benefit. In addition to, what you would have gained. So that's the tax benefit there if you buy in super compared to personal or trust. So even with this discount, you pay a bit of higher tax, but with super, you pay, even with just 5% discount, at 10% you pay $24,000 tax. Now, most important part here is how much you actually invest. So regardless what I've done here, for making this simple, I have taken 25%. So 20% towards the deposit and 5% approximately for stamp duty and other cost or purchase. So 25% for this 600,000 is going to be 150,000 in each scenario, and the gross gain you receive is about 240,000 in each case. Now if you consider the gross gain as a percentage, you can see here is actually you getting literally double. You can say that your benefit is more than 100%. So this 100, if you invest 150,000, and even if you consider tax of this scenario, let's say you roughly take 60,000 of these 240,000 gross, okay, you remove that, then you will be left around 180,000 net. Now if you consider selling cost, marketing cost of another 20,000, so 180 minus 20, 160,000. So you can see here your money 150 in 5 years turning into 310. So you get another 160 actually, but let's say you lose another 10,000 somewhere else on some other way. Basically your money 150,000, whether it's in personal or in your super, is basically double. So if you consider 100% return in 5 years at a conservative growth rate, you are doubling your cash in either case. So if you think of self-managed fund, which is the better scenario with 40,000 you keep in, less tax, plus you get actually, this 150k you invested literally double to 300,000. I have a client who done exactly the same strategy where we invested around 150,000. Actually, in a better scenario, he got 130,000 he made just in 12 months, and his super actually grew by almost 43%. So in a better scenario, you don't need to wait for 5 years. You can have your super self-managed super fund balance double just maybe in 3 years or 4 years. But sticking to this conservative scenario, in the worst case scenario, you can still double your super in 5 years. So what can happen, as I was saying initially, that in this global scenario with stock market very uncertain, volatile, the safest way for people to invest is a property, very safe, with conservative growth, with this 8%, you still let your super grow. So that can actually, I think the same thing happened during COVID when the market was not stable. People started investing into property from their self-managed super fund, that pushed the extra demand, and that actually pushed the prices up. Because as I said very beginning, the biggest problem here, the fundamental reason, is the supply. Okay, so we're not building enough houses, not even 10-15% to what we need. Very low supply versus massive demand. So this could actually turn to be really a great option if you choose to invest in super. If you have enough balance, then even in this worst case scenario, in all these global concerns and all these things happening, you can still be better off in the worst case scenario to double your super in 5 years, which is 20% per year. If you leave into your current super fund, or if you do nothing, if it is an offset account, you are earning at 7% per year. Or even if you have your money invested into your standard industry fund is still getting 7% or less. If the share markets go down, you may lose your balance. Like people did lose a significant amount during COVID time from the super fund, 10%, 15%. But if you choose this option by of investing your super fund into a property, it's very safe way. And in the worst case scenario, as I said, I'm repeating, you will be doubling your super in 5 years, and then you can buy 2 properties from that 300,000 balance again. And that way you can build a portfolio under your self-managed super fund as well. Hope this video has helped you understand the impact of capital gain discount changes coming soon, and still you can see that it's very positive to continue investing and still make really decent amounts of profit and grow your cash or grow your super fund balance in 5 years, almost at 20% increase per year. So thank you so much for listening. Hope you learned something. Feel free to reach out to AimRight Property Buyers Hub. I'm the director of AimRight Property. My name is Kalpesh Shah. So please feel free to reach out, send us an email, or give us a call to discuss if you think you need some help. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.